If you want to find out what Julie, Susan, and Steph have chosen for me for round 7 of the palette roulette, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène with another intro, this time round 7 intro to the palette roulette. If you are not familiar with the palette roulette on this channel, somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks, I invite you, anyone watching, to select my palettes and a few other type products that I will be wearing until I finish the round and report back to you. If you want to see what looks I came up with and what products were selected last time, I will put the video right here for your convenience. This time around, I have had participation, as I mentioned in the intro, from 3 people. And what I would like to do is go over the numbers they chose and the corresponding products and let you know my thoughts as far as the products that are in this round. So let's go right to the starting line here. Julie was the first one to offer up her numbers, and let's see what she picked. The 3 numbers Julie picked are 1, 6, and 10. And for number 1, the first number is always the palette. So for the palette, she chose the Smashbox Shapematters palette. And she was worried about having a neutral palette or something kind of on the boring side, because the last time she had the Naked Ultimate Basics, which I actually had no problem with. It's a basic palette, but it's a good starting point for almost any look if you're in the neutrals to warm neutrals. Well, actually, no, there's some cool tones in there too. But anyway, we're talking about this round. So let's take a look at the palette. Now, this is a palette that I recommend to a lot of people for travel for a couple of reasons. First off, it has a very big mirror, so no matter what your travel situation, you have a decent mirror to do your makeup in. And the next thing is, if you look at the palette, there is your brow product section, your contour, so face powder section, and then also 9 very reasonable eyeshadows. And so if I look at the eyeshadows, we have a set of very neutral here, very matte neutrals, this whole column here. Then we have a cooler set of cooler shades, and then we have a more of an evening shimmery, not neutral, but I would say warm section. It's, well, no, I'm going to call that last one neutral, but you can definitely see that you can do a smoky look with it. And I really appreciate the fact that there are 3, those 3 pans on the bottom are quite deep. And so you can have a very light look, or you can have a very deep sultry look. So the 9 pans are very effective in being able to create quite a number of looks. Is it colorful? No. But is it versatile for most people? Absolutely. So I actually think I can push this 9 pan palette to do some pretty awesome things. And knowing Julie, she is going to be very interested in the purple and pink in the center column there. I'm really looking forward to using it. Now, because this was a selection for eye palettes, I will restrict my use of this palette to the eye palette. The only thing that I might do is I might go into the face powders in order to do eye looks, but I will really want to use this palette specifically for eyes. And one thing I did not mention is that it has a brush that comes with it as well. But anyway, that's a long explanation. Happy with this palette. It's been a long time since I've used it. It's always in my contour section as opposed to the eyeshadows, just because of the other products and the fact that it's more of a travel palette. But I think it is a very solid palette, and for travel, it is the sturdiest palette that I have in my collection, period. So if you are somebody who likes more neutral shades and not colorful shades, I would strongly suggest looking at this palette. And given everything in it, it is a very reasonably priced option for high end. I mean, it's not a drugstore palette for sure. I've talked enough about the Shapematters. I obviously like it. Let's go to Julie's second selection. For face and lip palettes, that category, Julie chose number 6. And number 6 is another palette that I really like. And it is the Quo palette. Now, Quo is a Canadian brand, and I hope you can see the design on the palette. It's beautiful. It's very understated, but this palette called the Bombshell Contour Palette is, if you want matte contour, Quo does fantastic palettes. And it has a full mirror, and here is what is inside. You get a bronzer, a cool contour color, and a matte highlight. I love this. And I don't know if you can tell, you may be able to, the contour color or powder has a significant dip. You may not be able to see, but I can guarantee you, and actually the highlight too, I can guarantee you I very much like this contour palette. It has been a while since I've used it, so I'm very happy to dust it off and use it for you in a number of looks. And also, given this is the only contour product, every single one of the pictures that you're going to see in this round is going to be using this palette. So you'll have a really good chance to see what Quo products, contour products are like. And I put Quo at the same level as Smashbox in contour palettes. I think they're both really great contour powder producers, if I can call them that. Julie chose two very neutral options so far, but boy does she make up for it with category number 3. And for that category, Julie picked number 10. Well, number 10 ends up being Colourpop Colorful Liners. Are those colorful enough for you? Let me just swatch them for you and we'll talk about them. Okay, these liners, here we are. I think that you will agree that they're very, very colorful, and I can tell you that they're very creamy. I understand though that they dry out, and I'm very happy to be using them sooner than later because I would like to get a lot of use out of these gel liners before they dry up on me. And apparently they set reasonably well. I was coveting these, they came as a set, and I am very happy to be trying them out. And I think it's really funny because last round, Julie also picked very colorful liners. In that case, it was the razor sharp liners from Urban Decay. You're 2 for 2, Julie. You're 2 for 2. I'm happy with those selections. I think that they really balance each other out as far as something very colorful and then 2 very solid neutral or base product options. And definitely with just those 3 products, I can do a full look, which is really neat. It's not often that in just a selection from one person that I would be able to do a look with the products. So yeah, really nice. Well, I think it's time to go and look at Susan's selections. So what numbers did Susan pick? She picked number 57, 7, and 7. So it's either lucky number 7 or there's some sort of a story behind it, but regardless, we will talk about the selections she by default made. Susan, if you have a story about number 7, I would love to hear what it is below, because when I went and got your numbers off, I don't remember seeing a story in association. So anyway, let's take a look at what she selected. If you have seen a number of my videos, especially about MAC, you would know how I feel about this palette. I still have it in my collection. Let me show you what it is. It's the Shiny Pretty Things Eye Palette in Rose something. I don't remember the exact name. It comes with a brush. A brush I find relatively, come on, focus. A brush I find relatively useless. I can try to use it again. Maybe I need to give it another go. It's weird. It's very, very flat on one side. It's kind of weird. Anyway, the palette comes with a mirror for those who are interested, and with, how many shades? 9. 9 shades. If you hear growling, in the background, my dog is dreaming. So if you hear any noise, that's what's going on. Anyway, you'll see I have 4 relatively neutral light colors here, a few colorful colors in the center. This one, by the way, shows up very, very orange, very different from what the reddish look of the pan, and then 3 deeper shades on the outside. The palette does not perform very well, but I have to say that this palette, along with something else that Susan chose, I think they're going to be a good pairing. And, you know, just because a palette is not great does not mean you can't come up with good looks with it. It just isn't as easy or straightforward as a palette where the shadows are a type of shadow you really like. So I'm probably going to focus a lot on the 2 ends of the palette and not so much on the middle, but I could change my mind. So we are going to see what happens. So again, Shiny Pretty Things eye palette in Rose, I think, from MAC. I think Susan picked the ABH Gradient palette last time. Well, its sister quad, the ABH Radiant, is what Susan picked with her number 7 this time around. Let me show you the inside. Bit dusty apparently, I use it. You'll see 4 blushes. 2 more on the coral brown side and 2 that are more on the pink rosy side. The blushes are Spoiled, Coastline, Terrace, and Breeze. And if I recall, actually I can just look at where my brush goes. These 2 have been the most used, followed by this one and finally that one. I was not a big fan of this one, but I find it's very pink. Not to say I won't use it. And if you noticed my last round when I had the gradient palette, I ended up using the gradient palette on my eyes, and I'm probably going to do the same thing here, using it as blush and also as eyeshadow. Because as I said in the last round, colored powder is colored powder. You can use it whichever way you want. I'm very happy to be using this one. I think Anastasia blushes are fantastic. So to be able to have this one in the rotation again in round 7 it's great. I'm pretty happy. Now for the 3rd category, the category of Other, Susan also picked number 7, and I think this selection is La Pièce de Résistance. It is the best out of the 3 selections because, well, let me just show you. We are talking about these guys. What are they? They are the Tarte, I don't want to get it wrong, the Tarte clay pots, and I have 5 of these, and they come in these little pots, very, very nice. And I think that what I'm going to do is swatch the colors for you. I have 5 of them, like I said. I have Merlot, Lucky Penny, which was the first one I ever got, Camo Cool, Margarita. You know I like lime green if you've been watching for a while, so of course I had to have the lime green one. And then finally brown. So I'm going to swatch all of those and then we can talk about them. All right, here they are swatched. We have Merlot, Lucky Penny, Margarita, Camo Cool, and brown. And they're really neat. Now, one thing to note about these clay pots, and I did manage to get a number of them because they went on for half price at one point. I went, I'm going to get some more. But I started off with Lucky Penny for sure. That was my first one. And Merlot, I had those. I'm very impressed as I swatch them with the fact that they're very buildable. So Merlot started off as kind of a lavender color, and then I was able to intensify it to a deep purple. Lucky Penny is pretty much as is. The interesting thing with Margarita is it can start off yellow, and the more you build, the more it turns to lime green. So I have some versatility with it. And then this one also starts off more turquoise, and more you build, the more that olive green undertone starts to show. And then brown, well, brown is brown. I saw it as, and it's the creamiest of the bunch. It really applied so easily. And the big thing about the clay pots is that you do want to keep them very well sealed, and I keep that set of 5 also in a sealed glass jar to try to keep them performing well for the longest amount of time. And I had a bit of a mishap actually. This Margarita fell out of the pot as I was swatching it, because as I was swatching it, I was turning the pot upside down, which was a really dumb thing to do. But I was able to salvage it. Everything's fine, and it works just fine. I'm pretty happy with those. I think that along with the Shiny Pretty Things palette and the blushes, that this is where I'm going to get the color from to be able to do some pretty neat looks for Susan's picks. Yeah, good set all round for those 3. Last but not least, we have Steph, and Steph gave me 3 numbers as well, and there is a story behind the numbers. So Steph's numbers were 17, 9, and 2, and what is the significance of that number selection? The trio represents the date, September 2nd, 2017. That is the day that she and her boyfriend started dating, I guess. And so it's been a couple years, and she was very happy to be able to offer numbers that relate to that, given that this round 7 starts in September. So I thought that was very sweet, and congratulations, you two, for a couple of years, and looking forward to many more. Let's take a look at what those selections translate to when it comes to palettes and products. First off, we have the palette, and the palette is the Heavy Metals palette from Urban Decay, and this was holiday, I think 2017 is when this one came out, and it is beautiful when it comes to both packaging, in my opinion, packaging and colors. And there are 20 of them in here. A very colorful side, and then a more metallic and neutral side. I love both of the sides for very different types of looks. And as is the case for Urban Decay, their colorful shimmers, metallics they pack a punch when it comes to color payoff. So let me just pick a color. I'll pick a couple of colors that I think Steph would like. I'm going to pick Dive and Metalhead, so a blue and a purple, just to get a feel for it. Now they are new names, but they do make me think of a few colors that are already in the Urban Decay arsenal, so to speak. So we have Dive and Metalhead. Very nice colors. I'm really looking forward to using this palette, no question. And with 20 options, I'm probably not going to get through all of them, but there's everything in here. There's, again, I don't want to blind you. There are definitely some smoky options, some very neutral options. That red is calling my name. What's the name of it? After Party. Just beautiful options, and I'm really looking forward to using them. For Steph's second selection, I have a palette, which is the Brow palette from Quo. This is the brow palette I use every single day. Now you may be saying, oh, you might actually be saying, well, no, Hélène, because look, it's barely used. I actually just refilled the wax side here this morning, actually. And then there's a brow highlight, and then the powder, the 2 powders on the other side. The brow wax, if you're curious, I use the tinted brow wax from Sephora, and it is such a staple. And actually, I am expecting to hit pan on the dark. I don't know if you can tell how deep the wear is, but I am very close to hitting pan on that side, and I'll be sad when that powder is gone. Although, because the pans are standard round pans, I'll be able to take that pan out and put some more dark brown powder. Now, the reason I'm saying this is my go-to palette is that I thought, oh, okay. And when I created the list of palettes, I did not anticipate that this would really be my go-to. So I wanted to offer up that I can change this out for another brow product if Steph chooses. And I'm going to offer two options. I'm going to offer a couple of different pencils that I could use that I haven't really used on the channel for quite a while. I'm going to offer up that I can use the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I chose that today because I think Steph is big on Anastasia, and that's what I have in my brows today. I can use this for the length, for the duration of this roulette, or I can use the Morphe pencil that looks very, very much like this. So Steph, if you watch this video, please let me know which one you would like me to use. If I don't hear back from you, I will go by the default that was your selection, which is this brow palette, which obviously, since it's my go-to, I have no issue using. So again, this palette, the Anastasia Brow Wiz, or the Morphe option. Let me know. And by the way, that brow palette was number 9 in the face/lip palette category. And finally, I have number 2, which is from the other category. And Steph's pick definitely does not disappoint. I will be blinging to the stars because that number 2 is my set of glitters and shimmers. So let me show you. I have 3 brands in here. I don't have a whole lot from every brand, so I just put them in as a liquid glitter/shimmer category. So in no particular order, I have Midnight Cowboy by Urban Decay, which is, it's wild. Let's be real, it's wild. Then I have a Jouer. What's this one called? An eye topper called Constellation. For a smoky look, holy cow, this is going to fit the bill. I think it would look good too with that brown. Look at that. Look at that combination. I think that would look good. I forgot I have a second Urban Decay because that was the gift, the birthday gift from Urban Decay this time around, and it's called Distortion. I really, really like that. I can guarantee you I'll be using this one. And then I have my only full-size Stila, and I'll just do a swatch of this one because it's the iconic Kitten Karma. Everybody seems to know this one. This is Kitten Karma. It's very, very pretty. And then I have 2 smaller trios from Stila, and I'll just show you really quickly, hopefully on a side where you can actually see the color. There we go. There's this set of 3, and these are shimmers, and they are Kitten, Jezebel, and Pigalle. And so this is Kitten again, but it's the shimmer as opposed to the glitter. And I really love this one. Pigalle, I really, really love it. And finally, the last 3, which are definitely glitters from Stila. And because I'm left-handed, Stila's upside down. Sorry about that. But we have these 3 are the final 3. And this one is Smoky Storm, Diamond Dust, and Plum On. So we have 3, 6, 9, 10. We have 10 glitters and shimmers in liquid form to play with as well. If I can't come up with BAM looks with these, I have a screw loose. I mean, I am going to be glittery to the stars, shimmery to the stars. And not only that, but this selection, along with the heavy metals, you're gonna see some colorful looks for sure with those selections, no question. I am very pleased with all 3 sets, and really if you look at all 3 for the most part, it's possible to do a full look with each cluster of 3 products, and I'm really excited about that. I think that I can really do some nice stuff with the selections that were made. I would love to hear what you think of the selections, and if you have any suggestions for product pairings based on the 9 categories of products that were selected for this round. I think I'll be busy for a while. I'm very excited. This is a great round. Super excited. Oh, I'm just realizing. I think I'm on to Susan. She's saying round 7, and so it's 57, 7, 7. It's all 7s for round 7. Okay. I'm a little slow on the pickup on that one. If I'm not right, Susan, correct me. Anyway, stroke of insight right at the end of the video. I appreciate your time today. I hope you had fun exploring these products just as I had presenting them. I look forward to seeing you in, I look forward to reporting back, obviously, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.